Aha, you're back! It's great to see you here at Northworthy Sagas and Stories. I'm your host, Bragi, son of Magnar, and I'm, as you know, a Viking poet. I'm a teller of stories, and I'm also a smith. And I'm here with my very good friend,
Egil Thorson, warrior, trader, and of course a storyteller. What gorgeous weather we've got today.
Oh, it's lovely weather this week. Now, this is episode 5 of the weekly Viking vlog. I bet you never thought you'd get to episode 5 of a vlog series.
That's very true.
Yes, we're very thrilled at this series. We're very thrilled at the response we've been getting. So, thank you very much for all your lovely comments.
Thanks to all of them.
So, what have you been up to in the last week? Or last 10 days?
Last 10 days, not a lot. Can I just say thank you to Anthony Luckwell for the use of the camera?
Yes, we're going to talk about that in a quick second.
It's been a pretty quiet week, as per usual.
You've been learning some more folk tales, have you?
Oh yes.
Well, we'll talk about that a little bit more. We've got a little bit of a list here to go on. Yeah, so first of all, I'd like to say thank you for Anthony. We do have a new camera, and it's a Samsung S6 Edge, and it really is spectacular. So cheers, Anthony. Thank you very much for lending us this camera. I can't express how much this means to me and Egil. And I'd also like to say, if you'd like to say thank you in the comments to Anthony, then please do so, as I'm sure he'll read them, and I'm sure he'll be thrilled. So thank you very much. It's one less stress for me to have a decent camera, so that's brilliant. And what have I been doing in the last week then? Well, I've been making a few things. Made a few rune sticks, so I might talk about them in a future video. Can't read some of them out, they're very rude. And you know, I've been learning a few more folk tales, that's all good. But it's also been quite a stressful week for me, 10 days. As a week last Thursday, I woke up. You may not know, I'm a carer for my father. He has, Alzheimer's. And I woke up at, 7:15 and found him lying in his bathroom in a massive pool of blood. It looked like someone's had a Viking battle in there.
With me.
No, it wasn't me either. So that was quite a shock, and my dad's been in hospital for a week, my father, so that's been a bit of a stress. But apart from that, I'm generally alright, and he's now fit and better and back at home. So we've had a slight delay in content because of that.
And not hallucinating about Vikings.
No, he told the doctor that he kept on seeing Vikings at their house, we live at, and the doctor thought it was quite funny that he was seeing things until somebody explained that I'm a Viking reenactor and I have a YouTube channel with my very good friend Egil here. So hello, good dag. So that's that. Now let's chat about the latest folk tales. So what are the latest folk tales you've told recently? Let's have a chat about them.
Which one?
Tim Tom Tot, that was a good one.
Yeah, I enjoyed telling that one. We've got some more coming up from Gotham.
Yeah, we'll talk about them slightly later.
Yeah.
You had the changeling.
Oh yeah. There's a bit of fun in that because the voice I used for the changeling, my sister said I was taking the mickey out my brother.
Oh right.
It wasn't intentional.
It reminded me of a London gangster. Well, that's another story.
All right, mate.
All right. Yeah. I really enjoyed that changeling story.
Yeah.
It's a very good one, and that came from the Kevin Crossley Holland book of British folk tales. And of course, we read them and then we adapt them to ourselves, make them individual, don't we?
Yep.
And you get lots of comments on your voices. They really love your impressions. So, yeah, I really like them. Let's talk about folk tales to follow in the next few weeks. What you plan to tell, Egil?
Well, obviously we have to do some Viking sagas.
Definitely.
The Flighting of Loki comes to mind.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is a very difficult one to learn.
Yeah. Well, I got 2 boards. We can write all the long names on your board for you.
I want to do that. I also want to do where Odin goes to see the Sibyl about the dreams. So they all
I
flock
remember that
together.
one. That's a good one.
And of course the one after the flightings when they're finding of Loki.
Yeah, that's when they catch him.
Yeah.
I like that one. That's always one I remember reading.
And also there's the fairy stories, folk stories and things like that. There's one or two I want to have a look at there, more in the Gotland things, and to discuss later on about Gotland.
Gotham.
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 Well, it's actually Gotland.
Gotland, but it changed to Gotham, didn't it?
Gotham. That's where Gotham got their idea.
It's not where
from.
Batman lives, by the way.
Yeah, but they got the idea for Batman Town from Gotham.
Yeah.
Or Gotham.
Is that why there's so many idiots in the Batman series?
Yeah, I couldn't possibly comment. It's not for me to say.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, so what has been your favourite folk tale told so far on the channel?
I have to think that the sagas, my favourite one so far is Treasures of the Gods.
Yeah, it's a great one, that.
I like the Changeling.
That was a good one.
And the one I'm planning on doing next is about cheese.
Oh, cheese. Is that the one with the old cheese down the hill?
Yep.
Yeah. I'm planning to tell a folk tale from Gotham about a man and a kettle. So that'll be told in the next few days when I remember it and learn it. Not quite got there with it yet. I'm still learning the boot stories. I've just about got there now on understanding and remembering the second boot story, which I hope to record this week. So that's that. So these are the folk tales to follow. I recently told a folk tale recorded the other night with a new camera called The Jutlander and his stockings. You saw that earlier?
Yeah, I saw that. It's most impressive.
It's very funny as well.
Yeah.
And that's a 5-minute video. And I also told another folk tale, probably one of my favourite Icelandic folk tales. Egil's heard of this already a couple of times. Bukala.
Yeah.
Yes, this is the third time I've had to record this folk tale for various reasons.
Moving story.
It is a very moving story. It has a magical cow and some giants. And this is my longest folk tale I've told on the channel at 17 minutes.
Yeah.
So, and it's only a short folk tale. So, yeah, so I'm really impressed by that one. So you'll be seeing that in the week to come. And next week on Saturday we have a video out on Viking swords and Anglo-Saxons, which Egil told a few weeks back, but that'll be shot with the old camera. We still have 1 or 2 videos with the old camera to be published, but gradually they'll go, and the ones to be left over will be the 400 shout out and the 600 shout out, which are both ready. So get some more subs and you can see those videos.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
The more the merrier.
Yeah, so that's a little chat about folk tales. Another one I enjoyed you telling was The Farmer and the Boggart.
All right.
And
yeah.
I am meaning to do a little video talking about boggarts and the folklore of boggarts in England. So, and I'm going to try to cover all the aspects of folklore in time.
Yeah.
So it just takes time and planning doing all this. So that's all that about folk tales. Anything else you want to say there, Egil?
Well, I'll read from my list of
No, that's at
comments.
the end.
That's at the end.
We've got more to talk about yet.
Bit keen.
Yes.
Okay. So.
So what I'd like to talk about now is how would you think Vikings would cope in a modern world, a modern life?
That's a rather strange question.
It is a strange question.
It's in a sense that yes, some would become entrepreneurs.
Oh,
and others
no
would
doubt.
Just be everyday peoples.
Oh yeah, some would be ruling and some would be following.
To be honest, I mean, if you look at modern Norway, Denmark, and Scandinavia, Sweden,
Yeah.
those are what the modern day Vikings are doing today.
But to a degree, I mean, a modern Viking would not go raiding, would you? Would you think a modern Viking would still be raiding?
Well, they wouldn't last very long.
No,
would they?
I think what a modern Viking will be doing what we're doing. They'll be invading YouTube with great content and spreading the word about the Viking gods and the tales of the Vikings.
Well, who knows?
That's what I think.
Yeah. Well,
It's an interesting question. What do you think? What do you think Vikings would be doing in the modern world if they were still around? Well, technically we are around. They are still Vikings. We're Vikings.
yeah.
Even though we live in a town called after Saxons. We're on the verge of being conquered by the Vikings, I think.
I'm saying nothing. I'm descended from Saxons.
Yeah, I know you are. Well, but that's another video you can talk about. I mean, I can't date my family back to that time, but you can, can't you?
Yeah.
You-
On my mother's side.
On
anyway.
your mother's side, you can go back to the Saxons, and that's quite incredible, really. So, yeah, so that's a little chat about what modern Vikings would be doing. I mean, I think they'll be making fantastic bits of art and
Well, they still are.
crafts.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
you look at Danish design. It's world
Oh, yeah,
leaders.
IKEA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, people knock it, but at the same time, it does what it says. It's inexpensive furniture.
It is. Well, some of it's quite expensive.
Yeah, but it does its purpose.
Now, this week gone, we had a shout out from one of our subs, Stefan Milo. So we'd just like to say thank you very much, Stefan, for the
Right.
shout out on your video. And if I remember, I'll put it in the link in the description for people to watch. He has 1,500 subs, nearly. So if you go subscribe to his channel, let's get him to 1,500 subs and tell him that Northworthy Sagas sent to you. So Oh yes, we're very pleased about that. And
Thanks, Stefan,
we'd just like to give you a shout out back.
and all the best.
He talks about history and archaeology, and he's recently started a new series called Old News. And that was quite funny. I left a very funny comment on there. So please go and check him out, and please go and subscribe. So, and another thing I like to talk about channel-wise is another favourite channel of mine, Learn It Ye Old English. Now, if you've not heard of this channel, not heard of Kevin who runs it, it's a fantastic channel for learning to speak Old English. And one of my favourites on this subject, although I do have many other favourite channels not in this kind of subject area. So he's just had 9,000 subs. So I'd just like to say congratulations to Kevin. Congratulations, 9,000 subs. That's fantastic.
Yep.
Very well deserved. You're bringing an old language back to us all. And you know, I never really thought I could possibly speak another language. I mean, being English, I've always, you know, you kind of become a little bit arrogant, and for various reasons I kind of gave up. But it does inspire me to want to learn to speak Old English. You know, you do pick up words, and gradually you do learn it. And he also has some other channels learning Old Germanic languages. So overall, very fascinating stuff. So go and subscribe to Learn It Old English. So thank you very much. Congratulations. Let's have a look at the piece of paper. We can find out what we're talking about next on this list. We're going to have a chat about Anglo-Saxons a bit more, because although we called it a Viking vlog, we can't really forget these Saxons, can we?
Well, yeah, I mean, they're a significant part of our culture.
Oh, indeed.
They're not just from Saxony, they're from Jutland as well, various parts of Germany today, and even parts of Denmark. But the interesting thing, the Anglo-Saxons, the Saxon means the knife people. And you've seen us with the old, that's it, the Sax. And Saxons carried them, and that's what they got their name from. Hang on, he's having trouble there. I mean, people ask, why did they raid? Well, there was pressure on them. The Huns were attacking them, forcing them back. And also, England at that time was left relatively undefended. The Roman legions had left. There were lots of nice fat estates and villas for them.
Oh yeah.
They had been raided prior to that, but the Roman navy pushed them back. And they were actually called in. Hengist and Horsa, the two main invaders, were called in by Vortigern, king of the English, and he promised them land and all kinds of things. They fought the enemies of Vortigern, who reneged on the deal he made. Horsa was killed, was it Hengist was killed, and Horsa basically took his revenge on Vortigern, and it said that Vortigern died in Cadbury Castle, a very lonely man, and a lot less land.
Cadbury Castle makes me think of chocolate.
Well, there you go. I mean, a bit about free advertising there, Cadbury's.
Yeah.
If you've got any chocolate you want to put our way, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
we'll do a review on chocolate any day.
But then, of course, a lot of the Saxons were already here in the Roman army. There was reference on Hadrian's Wall to a Saxon god called Saxnot. Who or what Saxnot was, we don't know. Well, I don't. And they, when they heard of the invasions and the Romans leaving, brought their families over for protection. And gradually, of course, as history shows, they took over until the Vikings came.
Well, of course, the Vikings came, and you know, my biggest regret with the Vikings and the Saxons is that they never got together in 1066 and kicked the Normans out of England, because that would have been fantastic in my mind.
Yeah,
and you wouldn't end up with such bad management. I often blame the Normans for that.
If my auntie had a beard, she'd be my uncle. But let's not forget,
Yeah,
the Normans actually were descended from the Vikings.
indeed.
His grandfather, Rollo the Ganger, was a Viking, and the so-called Saxon army, that was because it was ruled over by Harold the Godwinson. The Vikings had already invaded under Harold Hardrada, who was killed at Stamford Bridge, and to be honest, when you look at the history, Harold Godwinson, well, it's a bit dodgy as to who actually was promised the crown. And I think the arch-villain are not the Normans in this, but Edward the Confessor who stirred it up. I can understand why he stirred it up, because the Godwin family were pushing him around made him
Yeah,
marry
you can
their
understand that.
daughter. But at the same time, he could have set the record straight one way or another. But hey, that's what happens in history. And yeah, William came, as we know, and settled the land. But people often say, why is he so brutal? Well, you've got 6 million irate Saxons and about 10,000 Normans. And also, I mean, in our area, particularly Derby, it was ruled over by a lord called Morcar, who changed sides 6 times.
Wow.
And eventually
What a turncoat.
Yeah, and started where he finished. So you can understand why William was a mite peeved.
Yeah, you can understand that. Yeah.
And that's basically a thumbnail sketch history.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt we will go into depth about this in the future, and we could possibly do a series on, you know, the rise of the Anglo-Saxons and go through all of that in a long series.
Yeah.
But it all takes time and planning, and let's not forget the Frisians and the Jutes. Although the Frisians get a look in, but the Jutes don't seem to get a look in, do they, really?
Well, the Jutes settled in Kent, and if
Yeah.
you look at the arms of Kent, it's a white horse rampant. Well, the white horse was what the Jutes worshipped
Yes.
at the time. Yeah, I happen to like Kent a lot because that's where I was born.
Oh yeah, they also make fantastic beer in Kent.
Oh yeah,
Oh, lovely golden ale. Oh,
fresh fruit.
yes. One of my favourite beers is Kentish golden ale. Oh, it makes your mouth water. So yeah, so that's a quick chat about the Saxons, because we don't want to forget the Saxons. Although this is like a Viking vlog series, we also love the Saxons too, because without them we wouldn't be here now.
True.
And like I said before, we can't forget the Frisians and also the Angles and the Jutes. So yeah, so that's fantastic. Now, last week we had a mystery object on the channel, and that was quite popular. Lots of people suggested various things. Odin suggested it was for lifting nails, which, well, it might work to a degree, but I don't think it'll last long. Somebody said, would it for stirring your food, where you could use that on a big cauldron? You could use it as a... Oh, there's lots of things, but I do have another mystery object for you to look at this week in my bag.
What's in the sack, Jack?
What's in the sack? So this is the mystery object, and all it is, it's a wooden handle. It's got a hole there so you can hang it up. It's got an old iron rod, and the other thing you need to know about it, it's got a small hole here. You can't see it on the camera, and I think Eggle will know what it's for, so let's show Eggle. Drop
Yeah,
my scram
well, this
again.
old thing, yes.
Well, don't tell them, they can let them guess. I'll make you one day, you can have one of your kit, because it's good for demonstrating.
Is it a sausage stuffer?
No,
No?
no,
Is it a medical instrument?
I hope not.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Lube it up first.
Or magic wand?
Could be a magic wand of a Viking shaman.
Well,
Is it a nose picker?
not really.
No.
Be a bit.
Maybe for a giant.
Well, I know what it is, but I'm not saying.
I know what it is because I made it.
Yeah. Well, that does help.
And I'll give you a clue. This would not be mainly used by adults. This would probably be used by children, wouldn't it? You know, because it's a kind of a job which you want to give to your child to make the object you're going to make on here, because you'll be busy doing other things. So that's a mystery object. There we go.
Yeah.
It's just a bit of wood. That's ash. It's about 12, 15 years old, this fire.
Ah.
It's a bit rusty. A lot of my kit's rusty. So there you go, there's that. So, and if we can find another mystery object next week for you, I will do. Let's go back to here. So we're just going to have a little bit of a chat about the channel art. That's the banner and the profile picture, and also the watermark on the videos. Now, I'm not brilliant at doing art or graphics, as you can probably tell, and I don't think we're going to change the profile picture at the moment, because it kind of stands out with the Vandal helmet which Tirke is wearing. But if there's anybody out there who's good at making channel art, a banner, you could talk to me, email me, or send me a message, DM me, send me a message on Twitter, that'd be great, and perhaps we could improve the art for the channel, and we'd be most grateful, wouldn't we, Eggle?
Certainly would.
Yeah, so if anybody could help or advice on the channel art, let us know what you think. I'll truly appreciate that. So we're now on to the bit where we're going to start answering the questions and answers from our subs. So do you want to start off, Eggle, reading your sheet? That's mine. Where's yours then?
Oh, here it is.
Yeah. Just bear with us.
Tell this is live.
Yeah, it is live.
Okay.
We're also filming this on the day of being published.
Do you want to start?
Yeah, you start.
Another quick question from
Cheetah.
Cheetah. Another quick question. Is it true the Vikings bleached their hair while going on long voyages to prevent lice? Now, they may well have dyed their hair because from a source, Ibn Fidan says that all the Vikings had red hair and dyed it. It's possible. I mean, to kill the lice, what you do, I found out from the television actually about 2 days ago. The Edwardians used to put vegetable oil in their hair, leave it, and then wash it out because the lice breathe through the skin, and if you clog the skin, they can't breathe. So maybe perhaps bleach is not the right word, but they certainly would have henna, and that may have clogged the
you can see that.
up. But other than that, I can't. With all honesty, I don't know.
I think they use some kind of a lye mix to dye the hairs, what's been speculated and I've read about. It's a very interesting question. I mean, would the combs have got the lice out, or would the combs not be fine enough?
The fine combs would get the lice out. What it does, it breaks the legs.
Yes.
And even up until about the 19th century, people would put a piece of paper down, comb their hair with these very fine combs, and the lice would come out from that. It's not just through vanity that they do that, because when lice, what they do is they suck your blood, and as they suck your blood, there are residues from other people, and you get diseases. And this is where you get the saying feeling lousy from.
Oh,
because
yes.
you become lethargic.
Yes.
And that's where it comes from. We have found combs in York with lice in them.
Really?
So it's a combination, I think, of combing and maybe using henna. The reason they used henna would be to get red hair because the god Thor had red hair.
Oh, and red hair was meant to be a sign of good luck, wasn't it?
Absolutely, especially in women.
Oh yes, everybody loves a good red-headed lady.
Just settle for a lady.
Well, yes, well there you go.
That's another vlog.
Yeah, and just talk about this. I know in the Bronze Age or the Iron Age, if they had lice, one of the things they used to do was sit on an ant's nest.
Yeah.
And actually they'll get stung by the ants, but what would happen, the ants will crawl up and will remove all the lice and take them off them. So would that be the practice in the day, or would that be practiced out?
It's possible, but I mean,
it's interesting.
The formic acid that these creatures release would be very painful.
Yeah, you'll be suffering for a few days.
Maybe. I don't think it was a bigger issue as it is today.
No.
You've got one or two things more pressing on your life than
Well, of course so, yes. Life's the least of your problems.
But having said that, you know, I mean, I suppose so. I mean, we know that lice irritate. I mean, the guys in the First War suffered terribly from lice, and they used to use a candle flame along the seam of their clothing. Whether that's another thing they did.
Yeah, I've seen that done in reenactment. So. Yeah.
But yeah.
So that's an excellent question there from Cheetah.
Nice one.
So let me read a question out. So we've got a comment. Theomir. The video length is fine at 20 minutes or an hour. It does not matter to me, so long as you are happy with filming them. I am sure over time the videos will gain more structure, weekly catch-up, Eggle's Corner, Crafting with Bragi, and of course questions and comments laughed out loud. And that's just talking about the vlog. So excellent comment there, Theomir, and I always thank you for your comments. So
yeah, that's a nice one. So from the Guild of Green Men and Woodrows 3 days ago, thanks for being bold enough to mention the fact that slavery is still going on today, sometimes in our own communities. I wish more decent people were willing to speak up about such things. Thanks for that. It's a very touchy subject, you have to be so careful. But I think it is right that people know about it. It's not just a one race issue, it covers over history, it's covered all over. it's an abomination that humanity seems to perpetuate. But if you know about it,
You can talk about
you
it.
can talk about it.
And like I said before, we've had slavery in Derby recently.
Yeah,
Cases.
yeah.
So even for us locally, it's quite shocking to hear that. So yes, we condemn slavery. By talking about it, let's hope we can put a stop to it.
Yeah.
Great comment, thank you.
Thank you for that.
They got another question from a guild of Green Men and Woodrows, and if you've not checked out their YouTube channel, then please do so. They're a group of Anglo-Saxons from America, and they make weekly videos, if not daily, I think.
Yeah.
So please check them out, and please subscribe, and tell them that you've been sent to from Northworthy to subscribe. And I think they have 125 subs at the moment, so let's try to get them up to a bit higher number.
They were talking, the Guild of Green Men were talking, are you familiar with Kathleen Herbert's English heroic legends? I personally am not. I hope to alter that soon. Regarding the method of telling and fleshing out obscure Saxon stories, well, sometimes you have to, I have to be honest, there are some we have to, shall we say, sanitise, because it doesn't bother me, but you have to be aware that your viewers are sometimes upset by things. They could be looked on as pornographic in some sense.
Well, yes.
They weren't meant in that way, but it's just the way the Anglo-Saxons spoke. And also, you've got to pad them out sometimes, because they are rather short at times. And also, you want to put your own character on them as well.
Well, of course you do, yes.
I mean, if we read sagas as they were written in, say, the Victorian times, never mind you falling asleep, I would as well.
Well, yes.
There's all this these and thous, which
But not
Yeah.
needed. You
No.
want the action, the thrilling moments, the fights, the giants, and all those kind of things.
what we try and do is, well, it's like you're here in front of us, we invite you in and hope you enjoy the stories that way. And it's to make it less formal and more acceptable to a wider audience. And I hope that's got across.
Yeah, and if when we are successful on this channel, I hope the ultimate goal is to have some kind of a longhouse built, so we can have an actual authentic building we can film from.
Yeah.
That would be fantastic, wouldn't it?
Now we've got a quick question for Bragi.
Oh, right.
Now I know you can sew and make your own hats and clothes.
Oh, yes.
But can you also craft and smith, like making shields and helmets, wooden spoons and other decor?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Comes from Odin.
yeah, there's not that's from Chiita.
Oh, sorry, that's Chahita.
Yeah, I'm an engineer by trade, so as an engineer you can basically make anything if you put your mind to it. I do have a blacksmith workshop, which I don't often use because of my commitments to looking after my father. So, but I can, I've made a helmet before many years ago, and I can make shield bosses. So there's nothing you can't make. You put your mind to it, and often you just teach yourself these crafts. And this period, the Dark Ages, is a great hobby to get into, the learning crafts. You don't really get it in the 19th century reenactment scenes. You're too busy fighting and doing battles and that, or drilling.
Having ego matches.
Yeah, so yeah, I can fundamentally make a lot of things,
Yeah.
and maybe I will demonstrate some crafts in the future. Although it wasn't fundamentally what I started this channel to do.
And now Odin, 5 days ago. Now, excuse me if I'm wrong, but I couldn't help noticing, is that a coat of mail in the background? You're quite right,
Yes,
it was.
in the last vlog we had a coat of mail, and we also had the helmet from Bentley Grange, a copy of that, which needs a bit of repair work before I can start wearing it again. So
Yeah.
it's another job.
Another interesting question by Stefan Milo.
Yeah,
Maybe the interruption of tattooing was due to the introduction of Christianity, those prudish monks cramping our natural pagan style. Well, yes, actually, in the Bible, St. Paul speaks out against people being tattooed. It is a thing which is peculiar originally to pagans. As you notice, I've got a few tattoos.
I had none.
Yeah, but as I say, I've got one or two, and these are all due to my religion, Odinism, and it's in celebration to your gods. And it does make me smile when you see people with Christian symbolism tattooed on them. But it's not just Christianity that they tattoo in. If you're Jew, you can't have them.
Yes.
Islam, they
Yeah.
ban them. course, Church of England, and they're not so hot on that. But I mean, a friend of mine who is Jewish said you're not allowed to be buried in
Shalom.
a Jewish cemetery if you've got tattoos. I don't know how.
Yeah, how to get around that? No idea.
Yeah.
So another interesting question that and comment. So thank you.
We'll be talking about tattoos later.
And another thing I got in mind is perhaps we might want to recreate this image which the Arab talked about. So I'm thinking about we could put you with a little bit of eyeshadow, put some ribbons in your hair. I'll buy some silk, and we could try to recreate this image and what he talked about. Yeah, you're looking frightened at that.
Not frightened, it ain't happening.
Oh well, I thought it'd be interesting just to prepare, see what description look like.
Change my name to Rue Paulison.
Yeah, maybe. Well, we'll talk about that.
Another one here from is that Chiquita?
That's Chiquita again.
Bad printer. Quick archaeology question for Eagle. Upon digging, has he ever discovered anything? Yes. I worked, as I say, my degree was in archaeology and history. I worked at Castle Hentley's in Sutton Hoo. Castle Hentley's I discovered Celtic moulds for horse harness, a couple of brooches, bronze pin, shield boss. Sutton Hoo, which is an interesting site. Everybody thinks it's a Saxon site, which it is, but underneath that is a Neolithic site.
Oh yes, there is, yes.
And I was finding lots of flints, worked flints. A hearth was found, and it's also quite dangerous because in World War II it was used as a training ground.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, and one of the people on the site stuck his trowel through a 2.5-inch mortar shell.
Oh, well, how did he end up then?
All over the place.
Oh, right.
No, he was very lucky it didn't blow up.
He was.
But I also worked in York for the York Archaeological Trust, and I was where, I don't know if you know York, but where some Marks and Spencer's food hall is. We were digging there while that was going to be built, and it's a midden heap. There was a well on there, and I discovered a silver denarii, gold earring, but it's the everyday things that I like.
Yes.
You know, bits of worked leather.
Oh yes.
Because York is fascinating. It's got a soil that preserves organic material. It's almost black. I mean, you find lots of pottery. You also find lots of human remains as well.
Yeah.
But to find a piece of leather that's 1,000 years old.
And tooled.
Yeah. Well, also another interesting thing was I was digging and I found, quote, a blob. Didn't know what it was. They took it to the lab and it was henna from 3,000 years ago.
Wow.
And they took a sample of it and they dyed some more with it, and it came out sort of a lighter version of this, and that's something, you know, 3,000 year old in the ground, and it could still do the job it's intended for.
I think in one of the vlogs you asked about what was the dye used for blue. That would have been woad, wouldn't it?
Now woad, it has to a certain pH level to go blue.
Yes.
Mostly its natural tendency is to go green. You have to raise the pH level without being indelicate. To raise the pH level,
yes,
you use the contents of your bidet to.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
Yeah, but it does do a magnificent blue. But the Celts painted themselves with this.
Well, they did, yes.
And that's because it was an antiseptic.
Oh yes, yeah.
Also, when you're fighting, if you get a wound, the bits of fibre from your clothes get into the wounds. You get what's called gas gangrene.
Not good.
In the First War. So if you're naked, you don't have that problem.
Well, I had the same thing in the American Civil War too.
And painted bright blue, it frightens the life out of people. I don't know if you'd like to see a naked blue man coming towards you.
Not really.
Yeah, a smurf with attitude.
A blue lady, baby.
I don't know. Waving a sword and holding another man's head. Now, eat more chicken.
Yeah, eat more chicken. He loves this chicken.
I might have a video idea. Maybe you can go over, can cover about the ring forts in the Viking Age. Ring forts. These date from the Iron Age.
Yes.
Bronze Age. The Vikings they did have a fort in Denmark called Trelleborg, and best way to describe it is that it's a training ground for people wanting to invade England.
Oh yes. Come off.
It's all set out as a Viking camp. They also had a rule that no ladies were allowed in, So that must have been a joyful place.
Oh no, I'm not going to go there.
But they trained them up, so it shows the beginnings, if you like, of a professional army.
Oh yeah.
You know, there are fortifications. I mean, hill forts. They did reuse them, and they've been reused throughout.
Many times.
Yeah. I mean, the Normans built castles on top of some of the hill forts. But in Derbyshire, we've got quite a few remains from that time.
Yeah, we'll all explore some of these remains. You know, 9 Ladies, Stone Circle. I
Yeah.
found another one now.
Yeah,
The
and
King's Stone.
Doltor.
Yeah.
I would love to go to Doltor, but I never got there.
We know some barrows. We can go and visit them. And we'll tell some tales from these locations as well.
That'd be a good idea. I'd look
And
forward
also
to
with that video idea, I think we should talk about that in a video, perhaps Eggo in the future, about ring forts and using the Viking times.
Yeah.
So thank you for the suggestion. Eat more chicken.
I'd love some chicken.
Yeah, I feel like chicken tonight. That's an advert on TV some years ago.
Okay, now we've got From Rome is Glory to Us All. This is really good vlog. I've been studying for upcoming exams, so I missed it, but I will go ahead and watch it now. Well, I obviously like talking about history. As I say, I did archaeology and history at York, and Rome. I hope you do well in your exams.
Yes, good luck.
Don't be afraid to ask us questions. I may not know the answers off the top of my head, but I will research and get back to you.
Yeah, the internet's a valuable source of information.
And now,
So good luck on your exams.
Yeah, from Chahita, a bloopers video sounds like an excellent video for the holidays. I quite agree with you, and trust me, we've got one or two.
Yeah, we've got
bloopers.
quite a few bloopers and outtakes, and I've still got to go through a lot of videos from last year as well, from Turkey, and some outtakes also from Neo, who I hope one day to see back, dropping my axe on the floor. Everything's happened to stay in place.
And another one from Chahita. Also, will you guys ever cover Francia, like their folk tales and stories from during and after the time of Charlemagne? They were frequently raided by the Vikings, as I know. I think the Vikings even attacked Paris at one point. Chahita, I'm very lucky. My tutor in history was Edward James, and he's the expert on the Franks. And a book you might like to read is History of the Franks. It's fantastic.
Never read that one.
Yeah, forget chapters 1, go to chapter 2, because that's where the blood starts flowing.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's like Sam Peckinpah has written Bede's history. There's blood everywhere. It's great.
Cool.
We covered the Franks, and when I was visiting the British Museum, I was lucky enough to hold a Frankiska, the Frankish axe. Unlike this, can you just hold those for me?
I certainly can.
You see it, axe, but a Frankiska, it bends right round like that. You can't actually use it for anything but throwing. It weighs about 6 pounds in weight. This one was about 1,500 years old, and I cut myself.
He cut himself on it. It was that sharp still, which I always find amazing.
Yeah, but I mean, this out of the Franks themselves. We have evidence of Frankish influence in Sutton Hoo. If you look at the coins in the purse of Redwald, you'll see 37 different Frankish coins. And what we think that is it's tribute paid by every area of Francia that owed allegiance to Redwald.
Oh yeah, of course.
This is only a guess, and no doubt next week they'll change it. I don't know.
You never know.
That's what I was told. But yeah, I personally would love to do a bit about the Franks, their origins in Germany and how they came to France.
It'll make another good series, the
yeah.
history of the Franks.
But
And yeah.
if you're really interested, there is a book called The Franks, strangely enough, by Edward James. Well worth a read. He is extremely knowledgeable about it. And if you're listening in, Edward, hope you're doing well.
Oh yes.
Stay groovy.
It'd be lovely to get some of these people on camera talking to them in the future. And if the publisher ever want to send us a free copy of that book to review, I will review it on the channel, give them a good review and get some more business. So we're always up for reviewing products.
Well, that's all my questions.
Yeah, so we'll carry on with mine. So we've got just a comment here from Stefan Milo, who gave us a shout out last week.
You, Steph.
Hello Stefan. Hope life in America's alright. Thanks for answering my question. Well, it's always a pleasure to answer your questions and comments, so thank you for that. Now we have one comment from Theomir. We raise a horn of mead to your friend Braggy. I wish I had some mead or hot water. On the topic of mead, do you drink it?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
Good mead. Are we allowed to advertise them?
Oh, yeah.
For me, the mead of the gods is Moniac.
Moniac. I
It's-
mentioned this in the comments.
Is Stefan in England or is he?
No,
in
this is Theomir.
Theomir, is it from?
Yes, I think he is.
It's more difficult to get now. There's a drink shop near the British Museum in London.
You can order it online, actually.
Oh, right.
So the Moniac Gold Harvest mead is fantastic. The Golden Moniac
Yeah, I've
mead.
got some of that at home.
Of course, the best mead we've probably got is from me and my dad made in about 1976. So it's about 40 years old now.
That's a powerful giggle.
I've got nearly 4 gallons of it still.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
So
Well,
we're
get
gonna be-
that quiet.
Yeah, we're going to be drinking that for a long time.
Mead is great, and here's a tip for you. If you've got a horn, drink it from a horn, it tastes better.
Yeah.
It's like tea tastes better from porcelain. If you put the mead in a horn, it tastes so much better.
And you can buy drinking horns relatively cheaply on eBay and various sites like that. And he carries on in the question. If you can you recommend some where in the UK I can order some authentic mead? So we've done that.
Yeah.
I've been very curious how it tastes. Definitely check out Adrian von Ziegler, his music. I have done very good music. I don't know if I can use some of it. I've got to look into him a bit more. You'll find something of your taste. I believe it is fine if you're using his music. Check the video description to use the list info there. Such an informative vlog, guys. Learn lots as always. It looks like you're overflowing with videos and topics to discuss here to a fantastic year of Northworthy Sagas and Stories. Oh yes, we salute you to that. Waes Hael. And I think it's going to take us years and years and years, if not decades, to complete and telling all of everything, because there's so much we can do. Now, just going back onto Francia, we are going to be telling some French or Francia folk tales in the future. I've lined up. So yes, we have a comment here from Teto Sagas. Theomir, harvest gold is a wine flavoured with added honey as opposed to wine made from honey, and this is the mead you can buy in at Morrison's.
It's a bit sweet.
It is a bit sweet. I can remember once drinking about 5 bottles of that on camp. I was at Conisbrough Castle, and I was going around the castle quite drunk on the ramparts, and there was some very big drops. Not a wise thing to do.
Yeah.
The things you do when you're drunk on camp.
For a more meaty taste, I still say Moniac.
Yeah.
I'm
I
a
also like
Moniac
Lindisfarne mead. The monks make that.
Bit pricey.
It
but
is
yeah.
pricey. So he carries on with his comment. It will give you an idea, but not the true mead. There are many different styles available, from the lighter, the very drinkable Lindisfarne type, to the darker, more cherry Moniac mead. English Heritage do a nice one, mail order, as do several others. And there's a local brewery in Mickle over in Derby, where we are based, called Mercy and Mead. Would be good to start.
them.
Yes, we'll contact them and perhaps try to get them to give us a bottle, and we'll rate it on camera. We can see how long it takes to get Eggle drunk. It's even more funny when he's drunk. So the details on the internet. Enjoy. So thank you very much for that information, Teto Sagas, on the mead, following up from Theomir's question. So another comment here from Teto Sagas from the last vlog. Hat twins. Apparently we were wearing very similar hats, so he called us hat twins.
How ghastly social.
Oh yeah, although I was wearing a burqa style and you was wearing more of the Pythagorean hat, wasn't you? So
Well, we just had to have a hat and we grabbed the first ones.
yes, we've got a selection of hats building up. I've got a comment here from a Guild of Green Men and Woodrows regarding printers. I feel the same. Once I opened a second story window and tossed the printer out. It was extremely satisfying. I highly recommend doing it at least once, preferably when you are ready to replace the printer. Otherwise it would be expensive but worth it.
Well, if you get another printer, we can demonstrate the use of axes on it.
Yes, well I do have a knackered printer, and if you saw the last vlog, you'll hear me talking about how I hate printers. I mean, if the god Loki was around in modern life, it would be one of his devices he would invent.
I've nothing against them, but I wouldn't want my daughter marrying one.
No, well,
Especially if I haven't got a daughter.
I would like printers that A, the ink was cheaper, and B, the worked when you want them to. And I think we also had a comment from Odin who talked about once throwing a TV out of a multi-storey window building. I'd love to have been there and seen that. What a rock and roll life you're leading.
I was going to say, was he a rock god?
Yes. So yeah, so we're thinking about doing a meme and destroying an old printer of mine with Dane axes. So if you like that idea, please say yes.
I did it with a video player once.
Did you?
I was walking on plastic for a fortnight, but do you know something? I know where you're coming from. It was so nice to hear and see that machine shatter.
I hate printers. I've already got to look at a printer and it gets my blood boiling. It really does. I hate them with a passion. They're the spawn of Satan, if ever there was one. Yeah, so that's that about printers. I know it's a bit off subject, but there we go. Anyway, a guild of green men and woodrows. A video idea. Perhaps you could explore the archer motive in mythology, Ula, Egil and folklore, Robin Hood and William Tell.
Yeah,
So-
well, we've actually been discussing that.
Yes,
I
we
mean,
have discussed
My
that.
name I took from Egil Skallagrimson, but of course there's Egil the Archer, from which came William Tell and Robin Hood, you know, people like that. But we will get back to you on that. We've got to do some research on it. But we do know that Egil the Archer was related to Wayland the Smith, and that's a story worth telling as well.
Yes, we will be telling those stories. And if you haven't wondered where my name came from, well, I chose the name Bragi because I write poetry, and Bragi is the god of poetry. And also one of the names that Odin uses in disguise.
Yeah, and also he's in the Flighting of Loki.
Yes, and my surname was chose by Tyrkir. It was an old 90s joke when Magnus Magnusson used to be around, and in the battles you'd shout, "I've started, so I'll finish."
Oh, Magnus.
Now that's outdated now.
Yeah. Well, what can I say?
It's the way it goes. If you ever wondered where we chose our Viking names from, there you go. Now, another Tecto Sagas comment, maybe that wooden thing is a paddle for any up a certain creek.
Go on, you know what it is, I don't.
Well, it's just what it is, it's a paddle.
Is it to do with washing, do you think?
It's a multi-use tool, it's like the Swiss Army knife of the Viking age.
Or disciplining your unruly nephews?
You could do that if you wanted to.
But I wouldn't suggest it.
No.
But I think it's more like when you're down the river, because the actual beating of the washing knocks the dirt out. The soap loosens.
Yes, you could use it for that as well. And if you want to check out that object, and that was in vlog episode 4. There'll be a card at the beginning of this video, this vlog. So yes, there's that one. Just give me a second. Tecto Sagas. He's talking about this thing. So you made it, but you don't know what it is. Brilliant.
We aim to please.
Yeah, oh yes.
If we can't please, we're confused.
Well, you know, you make things 15 years ago, you forget what it is. It's just been lying in the workshop. So, another comment from Tecto Sagas from last week's vlog is that the Northamptonish helmet in the background looks a bit coppergatey, but more panels maybe. No, it wasn't. It was the Bentley Grange copy, which I bought many years ago from Tyrkir.
And also, if you read Beowulf,
yes.
if you read Beowulf, you'll hear about boar-crested helmets.
Yeah.
And that was proven when they found this. It was actually found at Bentley Grange in Sheffield. Originally it was part of Derbyshire, and the Derby Museum was offered it, it was the 1800s, and they said no, so Sheffield Museum took it. But it was an elaborate construction.
Oh,
You see
marvellous.
the iron strapping with the boar, but they think it was ivory panels on,
Well,
horn
was it
panels.
horn panels.
Horn panels,
Yes, it was
highly
horn panels.
polished.
I'd love to have an actual reproduction of that. That would be brilliant. But very expensive.
Just a touch.
Tecto Sagas again, talking about smoked eel. I think last week we talked about eel, didn't we? So smoked eel is really nice. Oh yes, not a fan of the jellied variety, a bit bony in stews, etc. But very nice. Skinning an eel is very interesting. The way I was shown is to nail the head to a post, cut around and below the head, and then with a pair of pliers you pull the skin off.
I I've seen that on television. I think it was the Hairy Bikers were doing it.
Yes, hilariously fun for the whole family apparently.
Yeah, well, whatever.
So,
but I've seen it done on television.
I think I've seen that done with snakes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen it on a guy doing it in snakes pulling it.
I've never ate eel, so
I've never eaten it. It's a big popular jelly deals, especially down the east end of London. It doesn't really appeal to me, I must admit, but when you're hungry you eat what you've got. But people who like jelly deals swear by them.
So we've got a comment from Theomir. Brilliant story, Eggle. If you look very carefully at 1 minute 20, and I mean really squint and focus in the background, you can just capture the glimpse of the lesser spotted bragi. A very rare species, indeed I am. Best known for its colourful clothing, hacking of local plant life, a tactic used to reinforce territorial claims, especially in the presence of a rival storyteller. The telling of this of fabulous sagas and stories. Well, thank you very much, Theomir.
Well, I'm glad you noticed it. It was an experiment we were trying. If you have people in the background, do you like that or do you not like that?
Was that an interruption? Was I distracting to that video? I'd like to know that. We have done one more video where somebody else appears in it, but we have to wait until we see that, and I think we need to make another video to add to the back of it first, and that'll be about Dane axes. So Cheetah, talking about one of your videos, fabulous sword and drinking horn, Eggle.
Oh, thank you. That'd be where I was using the Celtic sword.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
So I was using a kind of an Iron Age Celtic sword I've got. It's a very old one.
Yeah.
It's a nice one.
But not useful for fighting.
No, it's only mild steel. Another one from Theomir. A brilliant Eggle. A great story that can be both kids and adults. I have to say, the area you filmed this in is beautiful and peaceful, which is hard to find in the UK, England. Always a road nearby, wherever you go, and always that pesky noise in the background.
You tell them, or shall I?
Well, we are in fact within about 300 yards of one of the most busiest roads in the UK, so that may surprise you, and that's the A38.
Have you got a nice back garden?
But we do have a very nice back garden. This is my dad's garden, and I think we've been asked to do a behind the scenes video, so I will be doing that maybe in the next vlog. We'll have a tour of the garden, although I won't show you the house. So there's that. We've got a comment from Odin. This is an excellent folk tale and even made me chuckle, which rarely happens. Good job and keep it up. This is one of your stories, Eggle.
Thank you, Odin.
Oh yes, it's good to get praise from Odin. Oh yes, there's a comment from Cheetah. Oh yes, I do love pies. Oh, don't we all? What's your favourite pie?
Now it's two, steak and kidney.
Yeah, I like steak and kidney.
And beef and potato.
Beef and potato. I like a fruit pie, apple pie.
Oh yeah, I like fruit pie. Oh, more a crumble kind of guy.
Yeah, crumble, I like a crumble. Is a crumble a pie?
Yeah, it's basically, well, I wouldn't call it a pie.
No.
But it's jolly nice. Perhaps you'd like to tell us what your favourite pie is.
Yeah, wanted to have apple crumble back in the day.
I should think so.
Yeah, oh yes. So, yes, there's that one. A Guild of Green Men and Woodrose. I greatly enjoyed the movie review idea. You could also branch out in reviewing Norse Anglo-Saxon music. Now this would be more modern Anglo-Saxon music, as there isn't really much music from the period left all around.
We did find parts of a lyre-like instrument in Sutton Hoo. It was reconstructed.
It was, yes.
And there is a chap, I think he's from Cambridge University, who does play on it and composes music. It's very limited what he could do, but if you get a chance to hear it, it's well worth hearing. But at one time, Jorvik Centre used to have tapes of music from the Anglo-Saxon period. That was many years ago when I was naught but an lad, but don't be fooled by this Peter Pan exterior.
Oh yeah, I mean it is my intention to buy a lyre in the future if I can find an authentic manufacturer of one. I've seen one on eBay, but it's about £190, and the top sector is not authentic wood, so that's put me off that one.
This has got silver fittings, I believe.
Yeah, I wouldn't want a fancy one, just one we could play and make our own music perhaps.
Yeah.
So yeah,
there's also box pipes.
Yeah, box pipes.
They found a set of those in York. That'd be more for everyday sort of watching the sheep and passing your time of day.
Didn't the Vikings have some kind of like a bagpipe as well?
Yeah, the Northumbrian
bagpipes.
Sort of. I may be wrong, and please tell us if we are. But they're sort of Northumbrian pipes, so slightly different from bagpipes. Got a very pleasing sound.
Yeah, I have some Creative Commons music from a reenactment with somebody playing one of them, which I'm going to put into an audio to use in the background occasionally. So listen out for that, not look out.
Like the sound of motorbikes.
Oh yeah, we do get we've got somebody next door who rides a motorbike, or probably a moped.
Yeah, bless you.
Yeah, yeah. He always does it when we're recording. Anyway, so we've got a comment here from. I'm just talking about the review ideas. We'll be next week reviewing probably one of the last year's King Arthur films. So I was going to do it today, but I've not quite got myself organised for that. So next week we'll watch that and we'll review that.
Yeah.
We have talked about reviewing the Vikings. At some point when I get a copy for Eggle to watch, we're going to do an episode by episode review of every episode of the Vikings. So it'll be a little bit of homework for you to do.
Hard work watching the Vikings.
Oh yeah, just make a few notes of what you're going to say. But yeah, that's going to be done, and also the Last Kingdom. So watch out for that in the future.
I saw that, I think, a long time ago.
Yeah. We've got another comment from a Guild of Green Men and Wood Rose. I will be interested in seeing a video on how you put your Winningas or your leg wraps on. Or these basically. Yeah. I've thought about this for the last few days, and there's one or two styles of doing it. I think me and Eggle will sit down at some point in the next week or so and make that video for you.
Yeah.
That'll be our pleasure. So watch out for that. And another one from a Guild of Green Men and Wood Rose. A video idea: the Norse and Anglo-Saxon influences on Tolkien's work. Now this is something you can talk about, can't you? At length.
I used to be a member of the Tolkien Society many years ago, ex-Sam Gamgee. Well, there will be a lot of influences of Anglo-Saxon because Professor Tolkien was a professor of Anglo-Saxon literature. Yeah, in fact, that's where he got his OBE for. He borrowed heavily from Beowulf. The forging of the sword again. That's from Norse mythology, Sword Regan, which was reformed. And when you read Beowulf and then read Lord of the Rings, especially the funeral of King Theoden, there he actually copies it word for word. It works. I know axe to grind on that. But Tolkien said he wanted to create an English mythology, which, hats off to the prof. He did a good job.
We could talk about this in a live stream in the future as well. And I have tested the live stream, just let you give an update on this. The video camera I used, a webcam, wasn't really up to scratch. But with this new camera, we've been lent, very luckily by Anthony, I will be able to live stream once I've got a longer cable for it. So watch out for the live streams in the future. They'll be happening very soon. Probably once a week, and maybe we might meet up second time in a week just to live stream.
Hey, yeah. Be away from the camera.
Yeah. So there's that. So we're going to do that. Let's have a drink. I'm getting a bit thirsty here. Theomir.
I've run out.
Sounds like Eggle has had a very interesting career in archaeology. I wish I pursued that line of work, but unfortunately I found that interest far too late and doubt how to find the work today. Still, I work in local history and can view document from 1060 every day at work. Even has King Harold's signature on it, although he was not king at the time.
I don't know how old you are, but I was at university as a mature student. I was 33 then. I'm 63 now, and I'd never been anywhere near an archaeological site. But I was lucky enough. I worked at Sutton Hoo. I worked at Castle Hentley's in southwest Wales, and after that I was working for the Trenton Peak Archaeological Society, as was at Carsington Reservoir. And I could safely say, if you're physically fit, there's nothing to stop you from getting in the trench. I've stopped doing it, because although I agree with Time Team, they did me out of a job, because people who are doing what I trained for are doing it for nothing.
Oh yeah, you can volunteer at digs. So
Well, this is another thing. We, on a number of digs, had pensioners, real granddads and grannies. And what they were doing, they're in the fines hut, and they were washing the artifacts that we brought out and laying them on paper towels to dry, and they were happy as Larry with their cups of tea and what's this, what's that, and they can't do much damage to bits of pottery.
oh no, I thought not.
But it's still worthwhile volunteering. A couple in Derby group, they dig at Hadrian's Wall every season.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Mark.
Yes, remember that. Yes.
Yeah. And they
People
learn a
not
lot.
heard of for a long time.
Yeah, well, if you're out there, Mark,
Yeah, hello.
yo. But you could dig there, and the people will show you how to dig. It's not rocket science if I can do it. But the main thing is do it because you enjoy it. And it can be hard work. You've got to shift a load of soil, but the feeling you get when you uncover, it doesn't matter whether it's a little bit of pottery or a gold tool, you're the first person who's seen that since that got buried, and that is one hell of a buzz. And this is why I support Time Team, because they enthuse people. I know one or two of the people who've been on there, but the point is it gets you, the public, involved, and it's your history. It's not, doesn't belong to some stuffy old Don in Oxford, Cambridge, or or Tunbridge Wells or wherever. Could be your ancestor that actually put that there. And if you get the chance to go on a dig, do it. And that goes to everybody. It's your history. And Suetonius said, a man will remain forever a child if he doesn't know from whence he came. And that's true.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So we've got two more comments to read. One from Eater. I wonder what the world would be like if the Vikings never converted. Now I think this would be a great video idea we could talk about, can't we, at some point?
I don't know, you say converted. I'm living proof that the Viking faith still exists.
Oh, I'm a Viking pagan.
Along with a lot of other people, I'm sure, both here and in America. And Iceland has got its own official pagan priest.
Oh yes, you can get Jedi's.
Hardly the same.
No.
But anyway, as I say, if they hadn't converted, who knows? There was plenty of other contenders out there. The prize is that we have a Judeo-Christianic faith. We'd probably, if it hadn't been that, Mithras.
Oh yeah, I mean I've been to Jerusalem and Bethlehem and all those places, the Wailing Wall. It was hot, and I got chased by an Arab trying to sell me something all the way. Anyway, that's another question. And my dad paid for me to get into Jesus' tomb.
Oh.
Last question goes to Magpie 5678. Very cool story. I learned something new today, and that was from the Hammer and the Cross.
Oh, thanks.
So it's always great. We aim to teach people, and it's always fantastic when you leave us comments like that.
That is a fantastic thing. You feel that you're doing something worthwhile. I know that's a corny phrase, but it is. I go around schools talking about the Vikings and doing events. And when somebody comes and says, I learned something today, that gives you a nice.
It makes your day.
Yeah. So thanks for that, Magpie.
Yeah, and this is like the modern way of teaching people through YouTube. One of my favourite sites. I certainly watch more YouTube and telly. And just to finish off this, I just want to ask the sub something. Do we need an introduction video on our videos? Occasionally you will see one. It'll be like 10 seconds, 11 seconds long, normally accompanied by some Anglo-Saxonish music. Do we need one, or should we just keep the introduction to ourselves? Please let me know on that. I'd just love to know that, what your thoughts are. And that's really the end of the vlog, vlog 5. Let's hope it's recorded and we're going to do it again.
Well,
everyone will hate me for that.
Drink up and have fun.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Waes Hael.
Waes Hael.
Good health to all those that watch. Good health to the host. And without you guys, and the ladies of course, we don't get many of them, but we do need more ladies on this channel watching, wouldn't be here. So thank you very much. And we will catch you in episode 6 of the vlog series, the weekly Viking vlog. Waes Hael.